In this video, we're gonna give you an update on the RVers who went missing in the Nevada desert a few weeks ago. Now, their story is an interesting one, and quite frankly, this is the first time we've heard about this kind of situation, so you're gonna wanna stay tuned.
We are Charity, Ben, Dakota, and Trinity. We decided we didn't want to wait for a life of adventure. So in 2017, we bought our first RV and set off to live a life of travel in the USA. We've visited over 38 states in 3 years and have many more to go. Follow along to learn all the best places to see, RV and travel tips, and much more.
Now, if you haven't heard about the RVers who went missing in the Nevada desert a few weeks ago, I'll just briefly catch you up on what happened. I'll also put a link up here for the video that we did last week, and then we'll share about how they were found and the circumstances that led to their disappearance. Now, on March 26th, Ronnie and Beverly Barker left Oregon to travel to Tucson, Arizona. Their plan was to meet friends in Tucson on Tuesday, March 29th, and they never arrived to their destination. After the couple did not arrive at their intended destination, and after friends and family could not reach them, they notified the authorities in both Oregon and Nevada, which was their last known destination. What ensued was somewhat of a delayed response of search and rescue and a silver alert being issued for the missing couple. They were found April 5th, 9 days after their last known location was captured on surveillance cameras. Unfortunately, Ronnie did not make it out alive and is survived by his wife Beverly, who was able to hang on until help arrived. Now, the big question was what happened here and why, and we're gonna get to that in a few minutes, along with some things you can do to make sure you're staying safe out there while traveling. Now, according to accounts from Beverly Barker herself, their GPS took them down a dirt mountain road in the Nevada desert. Their RV became stuck in the loose roadbed and they could not go any further. They ended up spending the night in the RV that night and then disconnected their tow vehicle, which is a Kia Soul, the next day to try to drive back down the mountain to look for help. This is when the Kia also became stuck. And with no cell service and no way to go for help, they began to tap out an SOS signal on the car's horn for the next 9 days. Now, with no food or water, they were in a very dire situation. The RV was found first and then the Kia later on that day. Currently, Beverly is in Nevada, still recovering from her ordeal, and we will have a link in the description below for a contact address should you want to drop her a note of encouragement. Now, I think the obvious question here is why and how could a GPS give you bad directions in the first place? Now, according to the couple's nephew, they had their GPS set to show the route by the least amount of miles and not necessarily set by only highway travel. Now, we do not know what kind of GPS they were using, but this brings us to an important subject, and that is if something does not feel right, it probably is not. In our travels, we use a RV-specific GPS for this reason, to keep us out of a bad situation in our rig, whether that be traveling where there's a bridge with low clearance, roads and bridges with weight limits, or roads that just aren't RV friendly. We'll put a link in the description below to the Garmin RV GPS that we use, and there are also apps designed for over-the-road truck drivers that perform very similarly. Now, even with our RV GPS, we've had a few situations where it seems like it could be taking us in a direction that just doesn't seem right, and that's when it's a good time to find a safe spot to pull over and look exactly where those directions are taking us. We've also had situations where we've double-checked those directions on our phone GPS if it just seems like the route is questionable. We also like to use an app called Gaia GPS, and I'll put a link in the description below for this as well. But this app actually maps out your route in reverse, so you can find your way back if needed. If you're a little older like me, you might remember that one episode of the Brady Bunch where they left a trail of popcorn to be able to find their way back, and Gaia works kind of like that in app form. Now, we tow a Jeep Wrangler, and so occasionally we enjoy some off-road trails, and we use this app to know exactly how to find our way back, since things like Forest Service roads and recreational trails can be a little difficult to navigate. Also, having a paper map for times when you might not have a cell signal is super important. We actually have a USA Road Atlas that we keep in the RV for these types of situations, and also using a trip planner where you know in advance what route you're going to take is helpful. We like both the RV Parky and the RV Trip Wizard planners, and both of these show you the exact routes that are RV friendly, as well as give you information like drive times between stops and places that you could park overnight for free. Overall, planning your trip routes in advance and knowing exactly which highways you're going to be taking, and then if your GPS says to take a turn that just doesn't seem right, stop and verify before that you continue on. If your travel plans are going to be taking you through remote areas often, consider investing in things like a Wear Safe GPS tracker, which we'll have a link below with a discount, or a satellite phone. My parents, who are full-time retired RVers, do keep a satellite phone with them. Something else that we've also learned before we drive a long stretch is to make sure we have a full tank of fuel in our tow vehicle and at least half a tank of fresh water and empty gray and black tanks in the RV. We've actually had a few instances, one in the Arizona desert, oddly enough, where we broke down and had to boondock a night or two, and having water on hand and room in our waste tanks made the difference in it being a good situation versus a bad situation. Please stay safe out there this summer. I'll have a link in the description below to a blog post that I wrote on RV safety with some of these things and also more things to consider as you embark in your adventure of RV living this year. If you want to watch the video we brought you last week about when Ronnie and Beverly first went missing, you can check that out right up here. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified of more videos over here. We have a ton of both educational and entertaining videos about RV life and more coming your way that you won't want to miss. If we don't see you out on the road or around the campground, we'll see you in the next video.